Welcome everyone to Sports Buzz. I am Zach Barnett, your host, and I'm joined in by HD Davis, Howard Davis,
Yeah.
MMA bear boxer, God. So let's get it
No
rocking with
MMA. No MMA. Straight bare knuckle in boxing.
well, bare knuckle, excuse me. But let's get it rocking with a good one, man. So life is about tough moments. So what has been the toughest moment for you as a boxer?
As a bare knuckle fighter, the toughest moment I had
Mm-hmm.
was
So
in my
far.
biggest moment. In 2023, I fought for the featherweight world championship, and where I'm from, Broward County. I'm not sure if it was people from Broward County or people from Miami, but I had some people that um tried to basically like sabotage my career and who
Mm-hmm.
I am as a person. A man with children, a man of God, and some pretty wicked stuff was done to me to, mess my mental up and just like for my world title fight. Like so at my biggest moment, like the devil tried to get me. And there was a lot going on, a lot of threats made towards me, death threats.
Jeez.
I lost sponsorships. I had people commenting on bare knuckle page saying false information about a false video and all types of stuff like that. But it that was the biggest moment for me because I went into that fight and the champion Kai Stewart walked around the ring and I didn't even know he knew until he walked around the ring and said something to me on national TV
Mm-hmm.
that was just a very disrespectful thing to say if you don't know the facts behind it and if you don't know the truth. So he used something that somebody obviously told him to get to me, and people don't understand how mentally draining going through something that's false about you and people trying to
Mm-hmm.
depict you as this type of person. They're trying to um basically like defamation of character. They don't know how hard it is to train like that. And then when you put it all behind you or put it to the side and say you still gonna win, because you got God on your side. And at the very moment you're about to fight a person, says something that, flips that switch, and then it comes, crashing into you like a tsunami. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
um, he opened the floodgates for that. It was, I guess there's no rules in war. Some fighters don't have honor, and they made it a personal thing. Whoever he conspired with to do that to me, because they know they couldn't beat me in the physical form, so they felt like they had to attack my mental and my spirit because they know I'm against certain things, especially when it comes to um any type of things with kids or anything like that. Like I'm so against it, and it had to be somebody that was close to me to know that this was going to throw me off my game. So I went into that fight, crushed. I didn't show it, but I literally checked out in the beginning of the fight before the fight even started, just from one word, battling stuff for months and people trying to extort you and blackmail you and, the death threats and the comments and people slandering your name. I had to go through all that, train and just, swallow it. And that was tougher than any other injury I had physical, in the physical form with my hands and stuff like that I fought through. That was harder to fight through because I literally had a game plan to beat Kai, and he fought his fight, he fought good, but I really I couldn't feel no hits he hit me with. I couldn't feel no hits I hit him with. I was just like mentally checked out and my body was just like moving off of all the physical like work I put in. So that was the first time it happened to me. And from that, it has been my biggest trial, and I came out on the other side of it. I got baptized the following year in January, and I needed that. I had to really give my life to God because I was in a dark place because I had worked so hard to get to that world title fight,
Mm-hmm.
and the stuff that was done to me and trickled down and touched my family was very disgusting. So I would never respect people like the people I think did it, and I would never respect Kai Stewart for using something so low and so just 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 no honor, no respect for your opponent or anything. That's not his first time doing that. So yeah, that was probably my lowest moment, probably the biggest thing I had to overcome. But after I overcame it, my mental fortitude has been stronger than ever, and uh, going through that has definitely strengthened me in ways I can't even explain.
Definitely. The devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy. So he
Amen.
he tries to get you any way he can, and you just got to put on the armor of God, man.
Yeah,
The
I
the
mean, he came at my biggest moment. I worked
mm-hmm.
so hard, fought through injuries, broke hands, had multiple surgeries, put everything into that fight to get that fight, and people try to take away from me before I even got to the fight. And then when I finally get to the fight, they pulled, their ace out the hole, and they like, yeah, this is going to get him. And me being the person I am, and the values I stand by, and just principle of who I am, and
Mm-hmm.
things I don't tolerate, it just it really like, like I said, it really like, it wasn't so, it was mental, but it's like my spirit, like they crushed my spirit in a way that it was just, I couldn't even put it in words. Like, it's so much to talk about and so long and so many details, but if I got into all the details, you'd be like, wow. And you fought through all that. You fought 5 rounds, just, and people would think, yeah, you can just fight through that. Like, but when you're not daring, your heart not in the fight, and people literally take the fight out of you doing weird stuff like that. Like, I still fought because I had my family come out. I had my daughter come out to her first fight. My mom came out to her first bare knuckle fight. I had people that drove from Vegas all the way to Utah for me. So I wasn't gonna let my fans out of my family down. I gave it my best effort for what I could do, but Kai hasn't seen the best of me, and when I do get that fight back, I'm going to show him the real HD.
I hear you, boss man. Like, so with there's levels to every sport. So in bare knuckle boxing, who is the top dog for you? Who
Me,
do you who, who else, man? Who's like
I
someone that you look up to in that sport, I guess.
I like Mike Perry's style. Mike Perry is a dog. He fights almost anybody, I believe, and he fights really hard. Juggernaut, another one of my favorite fighters. Um, Joy Boy, Justin he's from Delray. He fights Rambo Russo. I like everybody that's on my team because we all dogs. AJ the biggest, um, Chris Garcia, Royal Reaver, Rosa, Linda, everybody that's in All In. Go's back in BKFC. I don't know if you guys know that, but he'll be returning soon. I feel like everybody I'm around, they inspired me. Those are the people I look up to because I train beside them. I see what they do. I see people like former world champ Austin Trout has adapted the bare knuckle real good. Always obviously look up to him and his boxing skills and what he does. Even my opponent, Palomino, I give him props. When I first came in, I always seen him, and like it was always a challenge for me. I'm like, I love to fight him, but it's always been respect. Like, you know, he's one of the goats of the organization, so I always, I'm a very respectful person. I'm not gonna act like he didn't have his success and his accolades, So he's another one. Um, Perdomo, I don't know if people know, but when he was in the BKFC amateur, like not the amateur, the prospect, he did like a tryout, and I was the one who picked him to get him on the BKFC, and like he was an animal from the jump. So he's a really good person too, a really good fighter. So there's so many people I can name that I look up to in different ways, and not just from the fighting aspect. So, but those are my picks right now.
Absolutely. So HD, you mentioned your faith. This is off the cuff for you. So or the interview, but with faith in general, what does that mean to you? In the
Faith means everything. If you don't have faith, you can't really do anything that you say you want to do, because if you don't believe, you don't have faith,
hmm
you can't really pour into it. You can't give it your all. You're gonna always half step it. You're gonna always give it 50%. But if I have faith, I'm gonna give everything 100. Whether that be in fighting, that being my kids, or that's me being a father, or me having a regular job or my relationship. If you don't have faith from the beginning, it's always gonna fail.
hmm Absolutely. That's a great definition of faith. So my next question for you, HD, the worst injuries that you ever faced, what exactly was that for you?
It was
Beside,
the first. It was the first injury I had after I knocked out Josh Wright.
hmm
I didn't know it was an injury because I never got an MRI before. So I was training for my upcoming fight with Jimmy Rivera, and my hand kept swelling. My front knuckle kept swelling every time I landed a good shot in sparring. So I hop out the ring, and it's swollen like legit, like a knot on my knuckle. So it was a hard training camp, and I kept getting X-rays, and there was nothing coming back on X-rays. I finally got an MRI, and I had several tears and ligament tears and ruptures in my sacral bands and my tendons in my hand, and I was literally training on it. And I already signed a contract, and it was the biggest fight of my career up to that day. So I took the fight, and I messed the hand up even more. and that was my biggest surgery. I was out half a year, and when I came back, that's when I actually got my first loss. That was my first time having a layoff, first time having a surgery, and it was big. And I feel like when I fought Louie, even though I outlanded him, I was hesitant on throwing my right hand, and maybe it was like a subconscious thing because that was my
Hmm.
first time getting a major surgery. So I didn't know how to come back from it. I didn't come back and have a warm up fight. I came back and had a fight with a dude who had more bare knuckle fights than me, and he just came off his biggest win, I believe. So it happened how it happened. Maybe it wasn't the best move, but everything was a learning experience. I wouldn't change it for anything because it made me who I am right now.
Definitely. Well, yeah, we'll end on this one, HD. Like my last question that I like personally, what 5 words describes this? So this one's for you, man. What are the best description words, top 5 for Howard Davis, HD, man? How do you describe yourself in 5 words?
Resilient, real, humble, trustworthy, savage, mm, genuine.
Gotcha, gotcha. Well, HD, man, it's been an honor to have you on Sports Buzz with me,
Yeah,
Zach Barnett, and
yeah.
this concludes
Likewise.
our interview, man.